Step 1. Connect the upper and lower scale body. Put the upper and lower parts of the scale together. Pay attention to check whether the upper and lower parts are installed properly. If they are not installed in place, find out the 4 fixing screws. Loosen it. After loosening, pull the buffer to the forefront. After pulling it to the forefront, we will fix it on the screws of the upper and lower racks. Step 2. Install the electric control box. The electric control box and the scale body are fixed by 4 screws, which ensure that they are fastened in place. Step 3. Install the baffle plate. Find the baffle plate from the accessory box. Remove the side plate of the scale. After the door is opened, put the baffle plate in from the side door of the scale. Put the rice baffle in place, align it with the 4 bolt holes reserved inside the scale, and connect the baffle plate and the fixing strip firmly with bolts. Step 4. Install the load cell. Open the front door of scale and you can see that each metering barrel is fixed by 3 red angle iron. Loosen the bolts of the 6 red angle iron. Do not directly screw them off, so as to shake the measuring barrel. There are 4 bolt holes on the scale and the load sensor respectively, and they are butted and fixed with bolts. These 8 screws must be fastened properly. After fastening, the metering barrel cannot shake. Next, remove all 6 red angle irons. After removal, remove the 4 angle irons on the top of the equipment. The measurement accuracy will be affected if these 4 angle irons are not removed. Step 5. Install the conveyor and sewing machine. This box is the sewing machine, get it out from conveyor. This is the sewing bag motor. Get the motor out and place the sewing bag motor on the floor behind the conveyor. Then lift the column of the sewing machine to the rear, and be careful not to break the cable. Erect the column of the sewing machine behind the conveyor, and be careful not to press the cable. Positioning of the conveyor and the column of the sewing machine. 1. The foundation of the conveyor and the foundation of the scale shall be parallel. 2. The gap between the column of the sewing machine and the conveyor shall be about 2 cm to prevent them from colliding during operation. 3. The lifting plate of the conveyor and the column of the sewing machine shall be aligned in the middle. Next, fix the sewing machine to the column and install the motor belt and protective cover plate. Install the thread roll support. The sewing and wrapping machine is equipped with sewing and wrapping thread. Just connect the sewing thread and the thread end of the sewing machine together. Step 6. Fix the equipment with expansion screws. When fixing the column of the sewing machine, remove the electric control box before installing the expansion screw. Install the electric control box back to the original position after the expansion screw is installed. The 4 anchors of the scale body are also fixed with expansion screws. Step 7. Install the cable line. Open the rear door plate. There are 2 black load cell lines and 1 white solenoid valve line inside. Pass the cable through the hole in the scale. After all are put on, connect the solenoid valve first. Connect to the aviation plug of the solenoid valve. Note the position of the plug keyway. Do not use force to plug and unplug. Lock it after it is inserted in place. After it is inserted in place, lock it and connect the load cell line. First, take this baffle away. and then the wire of the load cell passes through this hole. The load cell connector is numbered. Install the load cell connector in place according to the number on the back of the instrument. After connecting, lock the screws on both sides. After the connection of the load cell line and the solenoid valve line is completed, connect the wire of the printer and the bag clamping switch. The black wire is the wire of the printer. The white one is the cable of the bag clamp switch. Install the photoelectric switch of the sewing machine. First, remove the 4 bolts under the sewing machine. After removal, install the photoelectric switch in this position. Next, we connect the power cord of the sewing machine and the conveyor. Connect the 220 volts power line from the main power cabinet, pass the power line from the lower hole of the sewing machine control box, connect it to the 220 volts terminal, and connect the ground wire to the ground wire terminal. Connect the cable of the conveyor to the 10-core plug and lock it. Next, install the cable of the sewing machine in place. Each cable has a number, and the connection will not be wrong according to the corresponding number. Step 8. Install the air pipeline. Install the pneumatic coupling 1. The scale body. Connect the air pipe of the bag clamping cylinder. Find out the coding and bag clamping air pipe. Then put the air pipe through the hole in the equipment. Connect the air pipe to the cylinder from the front. Then put the main air supply pipe out of the reserved hole of the machine. Connected to the air outlet end of the pneumatic coupling. Air pipeline connection of the sewing machine. Cut the tie of the air pipe. Then we pass the pipes through this hole. And then through the upper hole. Then pass one air pipe through the small hole above the sewing machine and connect it to one end of the cutting thread cylinder. Connect the other air pipe to the other end of the cutting thread cylinder. Take out 2 T-joints for standby. Then take out the dust cleaning gun and air pipe. Connect the dust cleaning gun and the air pipe. Lock the nut. Connect the T-joint and connect the air pipe to the air inlet of the pneumatic coupling. Connect one end of the other T-joint to the air inlet pipe of the sewing machine. The other end is connected to the air outlet of the pneumatic coupling. Then, connect the main air supply pipe of the equipment to the T-joint. Finally, connect the air supply pipe to the T-joint of the air inlet of the pneumatic coupling. All air pipelines are connected.